at the beginning of Daniel 7, and it says that the four beasts come out of the sea.
Yes.
And then in verse 17, it says they arise from the earth. So what's the significance there?
Okay. So here, we know that in a parable, not everything is fulfilled exactly the way it's written. Like, I'm going to use the parable, the rich man and Lazarus. Says that, the guy that died was carried to Abraham's bosom. Do we actually see that as actually happening? The parables are to teach a truth. Not every detail in a parable is what the parable is trying to teach. Usually Yeshua had a purpose for a parable, and he used that. So prophecy is the same thing. It's the same kind of thing as a parable, but we're using symbols. So we use symbols to teach a truth. Okay? Are we good with that?
Yes.
Okay. So when it says here, 4 great beasts came up from the sea, and each different from the other. So, when was the last time you saw a lion come up from the sea?
No.
How about a bear?
No.
How about a leopard? No.
No.
Beasts don't come up from the sea. But later on in the prophecy, when we get the interpretation of what that means, the beasts are coming up out of the earth, and it says they're kingdoms. So when was the last time you saw a kingdom come up out of the sea? You don't. Kingdoms live on earth. They don't live in the sea. So the sea is trying to teach us something. It's a symbol that teaches something. So when we get to the book of Revelation, which is the sister book, it says that a harlot sits on many waters. The waters which you saw where the harlot sits, I'm in Revelation 17, verse 15. You see, the harlot rides a beast that is an amalgamation of a lion, a bear, a leopard, and a dreadful beast. It's the kings of the earth that come up out of the sea. What are the kings coming up out of the sea? The sea, it says, the water which you saw where the harlot sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So the reason why we've got a lion, a bear, and a leopard, and a dreadful beast is because these are the nations, plural, of the earth. So he uses the symbol of waters being nations, like multitudes of nations. That's what the waters represent. So when we get to Revelation, very interesting, when we get to Revelation 13, where does that beast, that conglomerate beast that's made up of all these nations that we saw in Daniel 7, where does that beast come up out of?
The sea.
The sea. So we're talking about the same nations. This is where, what I was taught about this prophecy is completely backwards. Like, it's not even backwards, it's just completely wrong. Is these nations that make up the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the seven-headed beast all come together, and they come up out of the sea, the same place that the bear, the lion, and the leopard, same beast, same lion, leopard, bear, 7 heads, all that, same place. So we're talking about the same group of nations that come together in the time of the end, and the harlot sits on this beast, and it says, what are the waters that the beast or the harlot sits on? That's the kingdoms of the earth that the beasts come out of. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now the next thing is even better. If the beast, the conglomerate beast, comes out of those nations, which we've pinpointed, we know where they are. They're the UK, the European Union, Russia, and China. What have those beasts got all in common. I want 2 things that they have in common.
They have eyes and they have 6 wings.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm looking for. They're all, we know that they're kingdoms. They're all on the same landmass except for the UK, but because of its proximity of the European Union, it's basically on the same continent, sort of.
Yeah.
And so those nations all have a common geographical fix. But they're all made up of different nations, tongues, and peoples. Okay? So that fits really good. But in Revelation 13, there's another beast that comes up out of the earth, not out of the sea.
It's the U.S.
Why? Yes, it's the US, but I want to include Canada in that as well. But my point being is, it comes up out of a different location than the other beast, signifying a different geographical fix. Because North America is not part of that landmass in the east. So now we have a one world order instead of a new world order. The new world order is the first beast. The one world order is when the second beast comes up from a different area of the world. I think that answers your question a little bit.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and we're going to get into that too, because that's where we're headed in the prophecies.
So when the second beast comes up, it joins the first beast and becomes the whole
Yes.
unit.
Then the whole world is on the same
Okay.
program. They're falling in line with the harlot that rides the beast. And that's why the second beast makes an image to the first beast. So they set up a duplicate system that's patterned after the first beast. Yeah.
So that's the way they sustain themselves, is by joining.
Exactly. If you want to get in on what's going on, you're going to have to come under our umbrella. The United States is not going to lead the world forever. They will have to submit to the New World Order. And that's where we're going. I mean, you can see that coming. That's going to come. Especially when Donald Trump is broken after the war.